Last week on The Club.
Previously, before I left, you take it for granted, I suppose. You make great friendships with the players you play with, and it's fortunate enough to make some friends for life. I think this year, hopefully, we can just finish off well. It might be the last time we have that opportunity for all of us to, have that one last crack at playing in a premiership.
Goes into doors, off hands, boundary line, need to be swift, 17 seconds. Boundary throw in, down to 10 seconds, Beams around the corner, puts the edge on it, Collingwood have won.
There's been a lot of focus during the week about individuals. Beamsy's not stepping up out of anyone's shadow. It's he's forging his own path. Consistency in his work rate and his effort at the moment is on both sides of the ball has been really important for us.
This year we've tended to play our best football when our backs have been against the wall, so I've got full faith in our playing group in those situations that we're just going to get the job done, and we're able to do that tonight against a really good opposition.
Beamsy, grab a seat.
There you go, mate.
We're about to head to a press conference, so we thought we'd better chat to you about what you'll get asked and what's ahead. And the sorts of things you might be asked about. You've obviously had an outstanding year. People wanting to know whether you've changed anything in your routine, the way you prepare. Has there been a moment this year that's sort of turned the light on? There'll be a range of other things, such as, was there any doubt about you re-signing, recommitting to Collingwood? You may get a question or two about how you've had some difficult times early in your career and you feel they're behind you. Just have something in your mind about that. And then also be discussion, I expect, about your Brownlow prospects. More broadly, you might get questions about, does this complicate things for Trav or anyone else who's yet to sign? You might be asked a little about, would it have been a good thing or a bad thing for Swansea to have played VFL? They're only peripheral things, but you'll get you can expect those sorts of questions. What do you think you'll say to those sorts of things?
I'm not a massive talker. Cameras after every game are at the door, following you in, asking you questions if there's an issue. I just like to go out on the ground and lead by example in that sort of way, so I think that's more for me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Look, we are delighted here as a footy club to be able to confirm Dayne's agreement to a further 3-year term with the football club. We think arguably he's one of the hottest players in terms of form in the competition. I think to see someone who is realising the potential that he has so early in his life and so early in his footy career is great for the footy club, but more importantly I think it gives Dayne great promise that he can be a good player for a decade, and that's something that not many players who walk through the doors of AFL clubs can hang their head on.
I think for me it was just maturing a little bit as a person. I didn't have a lot of structure in my life. I probably drank a little bit more in previous years than what I have this year. And, as a youngster, you probably sort of really don't realise how much effect it can have on your body. And I've really settled into Melbourne life now. I've got a girlfriend and I own my own house, so it's I suppose little things and just maturing a little bit as a person. I think it helps you a lot.
I don't think exceeded expectations, but more so he's now week after week producing the sort of footy that we're coming to rely on.
The first time we saw Dayne was in 2008. Dayne certainly stuck out very, very quickly in my eyes, especially with his ability to find the ball in traffic. And there was one particular instance on the half-back flank where he took a really nice low ball under pressure, and you know, he just had half a second and saw an opportunity to release the ball. It was really evident quite early that, you know, he was a talent.
I suppose I sort of grew a relationship with Decker where I got to the stage where I actually wanted to come to Collingwood. Felt like I was already, you know, part of the club. It was kind of weird in a way. I spoke to him a fair bit, and on draft day, I think it was, yeah, he sort of said it'd be out of me and Steele for that first pick.
It's an enormous amount of debate. Do we take Steele ahead of Dayne, and probably, and I didn't decide until 11 o'clock the night before, and the reason I took Steele was he was just that 1 year younger, because we took Steele as a 17-year-old. In fact, on the day, I remember going into the second round that Adelaide were the pick before us, and Hamish Ogilvie, who works for Adelaide, they're obviously sitting beside us, and I said to Hamish, you know, who are you guys going to take? And he said, oh, I can't tell you that. And as I said to Hamish, I said, well, mate, you're picking before us. I mean, I can't do anything about it. And he said, no, we're going to take the big fella, being McKernan. And so I thought then, well, you know, he's going to get to us, so, which was tremendous.
Selection 29, Collingwood.
Player 208022, Dayne Beams, Southport.
Steele got read out first, so I was lucky that I got through to 29, and I'm glad I did, because I'm here now.
As soon as he's walked through the door, he's been terrific, and you know, it's quite ironic that both Steele and Dayne are so close, because, you know, they were so close in terms of our consideration as well.
Always set myself to, you know, play a few games. To play 18 in your first year is something that is pretty special. You know, you always got that sort of talk of second year blues and all that sort of thing after your first year, but the second year was, I think I played 25 games in my second year, so lucky enough I didn't get the second year blues, and I was able to play in a premiership side, and it's something that I'll cherish forever.
17, Dayne Beams. There it is!
And I didn't get to play in that one, and I suppose it was a little bit of a different feeling for me. It was more, I was really disappointed for my teammates and my mates. Yeah, it was weird. I knew everyone would sort of be upset, and I actually watched the game downstairs, so I was already downstairs when the boys came back in, and you knew they were going to be upset, but to the extent that they were, really just showed how much, you know, playing in grand finals means to you. And Steele's probably my closest mate at the club, so to see him, you know, in tears was obviously not a nice thing, and I just tried to get around him as much as I could. But I think that feeling that the boys had that day, it's going to really sit inside them, and hopefully get us to where we want to go this year.
Beams from the pocket, and from the pocket kicks an amazing goal.
Dayne Beams, over the last few years, has really elevated himself as a high-quality midfielder, become an important player for Collingwood.
I think he's just grown up really quickly here, and I think that a lot of players do when they come to Collingwood, because there's you're under the microscope so often and so much. I just think you're forced to grow up and learn really quickly, and those that don't learn fade away and find the back door. So for Beams, he's someone who's really developed, and I mean, from my perspective, the last probably even the last sort of 8 to 10 months has been a huge growth time for him, and I guess we've seen that in his footy. But also, he's just grown up off the field, I think, even to the point where we made a call probably a month ago that we felt that Beamsy and Blairy were showing the attributes that we need and require in the leadership group. So instead of waiting until the end of the year or the start of next year to make decisions on the shape of the leadership group, we actually brought the two of them in and made them a part of it.
We're actually having a shower, and Maxie said, I wanted to have a chat with you next week about sort of coming into the leadership group for the last few games and a few weeks of the season. So it was something that I never thought about. I've never seen myself as a leader of as a footy club. So it's something that I'm enjoying. It's definitely different, but you know, if opportunity sort of arises next year, I'll most likely put my hand up. By signing the contract, you know, it made me think back to when I first started. It's really important. You know, my family have never been one of wealth. We've never had wealth as a family, so it's been, and you don't think about that as a player. You don't think about sort of your money and what you think you're worth and all that sort of thing. You sort of do let footy take care of itself, and that's what you employ a manager for as well. They take care of all that sort of things. So the deal I've got with the club, I'm really happy with, and you know, the next 3 years are going to be really important for me and my family as well. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that took care of me as a youngster. So if I can repay them in what they've done for me, I will. You don't play footy to finish outside the 8, and you don't play footy to not win grand finals. So it's what we want to do this year, and we think we're slowly building towards that. You know we haven't played our best footy this year, but you know, as long as we're playing it when the whips are cracking deep into September, that's all we want. And really, it probably has given me a little bit of hunger this year that I want to get there again and play in another one, because I know how special it feels.
Still to come on The Club. Chris Tarrant is in the studio to talk about his retirement. And we hear from Ben Reid and Alex Fasolo on their futures at the club.
McDonald for Solos, a sharpshooter, and he puts it through.